Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of all of us at the Family Place, welcome to Steppin Up for Kids. I am Dr. Cheryl Goody, and I am so grateful you are here today. Your presence shows your commitment to protecting children and strengthening families in our community. Thank you to the team who is here, our staff, our board members, other nonprofit leaders and staff, parents, teachers, and all those that love and value children. Today is about awareness, but also about action, hope, and healing. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, represented by the blue ribbon, a symbol of hope. As I have reflected on this event over the years, I've asked myself, how do we not only honor children who have experienced abuse, but also inspire meaningful action? The answer is resilience. Resilience is the ability to mentally, emotionally, and physically adapt in the face of challenges, stress, and trauma. So today, as we talk about the realities of child abuse, we also want to show you what resilience looks like. Real stories, real strength, and real healing. In 2025, Cache County saw 327 substantiated cases of child abuse. 327 children who needed safety, support, and someone to step in. That represents a 20% increase from the year before. We may not fully understand why, but we know how to help, and that is why we are here. At the Family Place, we meet children and families in some of their most difficult moments and walk alongside them toward healing and stability. We provide trauma-informed therapy for those who have experienced abuse. We offer family support and education programs that strengthen parenting skills and prevent harm. We provide crisis and respite care for our children 0 to 11 years old, building strong foundations for lifelong success. And we connect families to resources and support services that help them stabilize and thrive. Through a partnership with the Children's Justice Center, we create a safe, child-focused environment where children can be heard and protected. And alongside CAPSA, we work hand in hand to care for our most vulnerable. Our mission is to break cycles of abuse, strengthen families, and create a community where children are safe and valued. But we cannot do this work alone. It takes a community, and that includes each of you. To help us better understand the impact of this work and what it looks like on the front lines each and every day, I'd like to introduce someone who leads with compassion, expertise, and unwavering dedication. She has more than 28 years of experience guiding and teaching children and truly believes that every town needs a family place. She is also a wife to Jeff and a proud soccer mom to Diego. Will you please join me in welcoming Krista Useche, our Kids Place Director.
Thank you so much. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you today. I still remember my first time attending Steppin Up for Kids. I was in awe at the number of shoes that lined the courthouse steps. It was hard to take in. Thinking of all those children that were affected by abuse. And now I find myself 8 years later, And it is even harder to believe that not only are there so many shoes, but I also know the faces, the names, and the stories of the children that have been in them. Working in the Starfish Children's Shelter has been one of the hardest jobs ever. But it is also very rewarding knowing that our job is to love on those kids that come through our doors. There are many times that if I'm not found at my desk, you will find me in a rocking chair in the kids' place. And I may or may not have been there a couple hours ago. Today, we gather around a theme that is both simple and powerful: stepping up for kids. Children do not choose the homes they are born into. They do not choose the circumstances that shape their early years. They rely on us, the adults, the neighbors, the professionals, the community, to create environments where they are safe, valued, and protected. When we talk about strengthening families, we are not talking about perfection. We are talking about support. We are talking about resilience. We are talking about building systems and relationships that help families succeed before crisis ever happens. And yet, we must also face a difficult reality. Across our nation, reports from agencies like the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services reminds us that substantiated child abuse and neglect cases are not just statistics. Behind every number is a child, a face, a name, a story. A child who deserved better, a child who needed someone to step up. Stepping up means refusing to look away. It means recognizing that child abuse is not a private family matter. It is a community matter. It affects classrooms, neighborhoods, workplaces, and futures. When a child experiences abuse or neglect, the impact can last a lifetime, influencing mental health, physical health, relationships, and opportunity. But here is the hopeful truth. Prevention works, support works, community works. Families are strongest when they are connected, when parents have access to resources, education, childcare, mental health support, and safe housing. When caregivers feel overwhelmed and isolated, stress can turn into crisis. But when they feel supported and seen, families can thrive. Stepping up for kids means investing in prevention. For over 40 years, the Family Place has done just that. We are here for the community. Not long ago, we had a mother that was feeling helpless as her and her spouse were arguing and the children were present. Her young child suggested that they go to the Family Place so that they could be safe while they figured out the next steps. We were here for them. The children were welcomed in a comfortable and safe environment with qualified staff members to care for them. We offer emergency care 24 hours a day. Stepping up for kids means listening to them like that young mother did. Children often communicate distress in ways that are easy to dismiss. Changes in behavior, withdrawal, aggression, fear. Stepping up means paying attention. It means asking gentle questions. It means creating safe spaces where children know they will be believed. And sometimes, stepping up requires courage. It takes courage to report suspected abuse. It takes courage to intervene. It takes courage to hold hard conversations. But courage is contagious. When one person acts, others follow. We must remember, protecting children is not just the job of social workers, law enforcement, or DCFS. It belongs to all of us. Imagine a community where every child has at least one trusted adult, where every family knows where to turn before stress becomes crisis, where prevention is prioritized as strongly as intervention. Today, I challenge each of us to ask, what does stepping up look like for me? Maybe it's becoming a foster parent. Maybe it's mentoring a teen. Maybe it's supporting legislation that protects children. Maybe it's simply being the safe adult that a child can trust. Every action matters. Because when we strengthen families, we reduce the risk of harm. When we protect children, we protect the future. And when we step up together, we send a powerful message to every child. You matter. You are worthy of safety. You are not alone. Let us be the adults who step up, not someday, not when it's convenient, but now. Our children are watching, and they are counting on us.
Thank you, Krista, for the incredible work you and your team do every single day, and for that meaningful insight into the lives you are helping to change. And now it is my honor to introduce our guest speaker. Amberly Snyder is someone who truly embodies resilience. She discovered her love for horses at a young age and quickly rose in the rodeo world, winning a world all-around championship in 2009. In 2010, her life changed in an instant when a car accident left her paralyzed from the waist down. But Amberly chose determination over defeat. Just 18 months later, she returned to competitive barrel racing, becoming the only professional paralyzed barrel racer in the United States. She continues to compete, inspire, and share her story with audiences around the world. Her journey has reached millions through her speaking, her writing, and the film Walk, Ride, Rodeo that you can enjoy on Netflix. Amberly's message reminds us that even in life's hardest moments, strength can rise, hope can endure, and resilience can carry us forward. Please join me in welcoming Amberly Snyder.
Thank you. Guess I should see the mic and talk to the mic. Thank you. I am very honored to get to come here and visit with you all today. So my name is Amberly Snyder, and I actually, I live here in Utah, and I graduated from Utah State. My undergrad was in agriculture education, and my master's was in school counseling. And then when I got done, I ended up not taking a job at a school because my speaking career had taken off. And so I decided I couldn't be a good school counselor and a good speaker at the same time, because I think wherever I would be, I'd want to be also doing the other as well. But I wanted to start by telling you all a story about my first date. Now, I'm pretty sure we're all old enough in here to have gone on our first dates. So however long ago it was, think about it for a minute. Were you nervous? If you say no, you're lying, because even if you think you are a stud muffin, you will be nervous on your first date. So I was going on my first date in a wheelchair, and I'll tell you what, I was nervous. I was thinking there were so many things that could go wrong. We go to dinner, and so far everything is pretty great. I'm looking great, he's looking great, we're looking great together at this point. We come to the restaurant, and lo and behold, there is this curb. Now, I know how to go down a curb. You get in a wheelie, you ride up next to it, you pop on down. Pretty simple, right? Now, before I continue this story, and I make sure we are all on the same page in here, so gentlemen in the room, please listen carefully. In all things, in all times, and in all places, whether you are around or not, it will be your fault. I'm sure you already know that. So here I am in a wheelie getting ready for this curb, and this boy says, "Hey, Ann, do you need any help?" Well, I have gone 18 years of my life being very independent. My first horse was a pony at 5 years old, so I could saddle it by myself. And here I am in this situation where I need a lot of help. Made me pretty frustrated, so I told that boy, "No, I've got this." But of course, he distracted me. So one wheel went down before the other. When that happens in a wheelchair, you flip over. So here I am, flipped over on my back, thinking, oh my gosh, my nightmare just came true. That boy looks at me and says, "So, do you need any help now? I said, yeah, I'm going to need your help to get back up. So he comes in front of me and puts out his hand. I said, that's not going to work. I don't blame him, this poor boy. He doesn't know if he should be laughing, crying, or pretending like he didn't see this happen. So I said, okay, I call it a princess carry. You're going to need to put one underneath my knees, one around my back, and pick me up. I thought for sure he could handle this task. Lesson learned. He was from American Fork. So he came over, he put one underneath my knees, one around my back, and he did in fact pick me up. But then we both flipped back down in my wheelchair. Still flips over. His solution at this point is to kick out my wheelchair. So he's kicking at it. He finally gets it up. The brakes weren't on. So it starts rolling across that parking lot. Just picture this. Boy carrying girl chasing a wheelchair across this parking lot. This is what is happening on my first date. I am freaking out. So I finally get my chair caught. Thanks to that car. He set me down in my wheelchair, and only then does this couple walk out of the restaurant. I thought, okay, I have to say something. This has to be funny for me now, right? So I look at that couple. I look at that boy. I turned back to that couple and said, can you believe this kid? He just dumped me out of my wheelchair. He was petrified. But I tell you what, that was an experience where I was literally knocked down. I mean, I was laying on my back in this parking lot. I needed the help, but I was able to get back up. There's going to be experiences in all of our lives where we are that person that's knocked down. We are that person that needs that help. Don't be afraid to ask for it when you need it. Sometimes I think our world tries to tell us that asking for help makes us weak or incapable or maybe even handicapped. But in all reality, I think of what I have been able to accomplish in the last 16 years since my accident. The fact that I needed a little bit of help to get there doesn't make it any less. It is okay to ask for help. And of course, always be willing to offer. So as you heard, I have loved horses from as far back as I can remember. I started riding horses when I was 3 years old. I started competing in rodeo when I was 7. I mean, I can tell you, it's not a part of what I do. I mean, it truly is a part of who I am. So for me, I rodeoed all through the junior rodeo days and up into high school. By my senior year, I made it to the national high school finals, which only the top 4 had ever been to make it to. A week later, made it to the National Little Britches Finals, where I came home with 2 saddles, 11 buckles, and a finals and a world all-around title. Only one person gets to leave the world all-around cowgirl, and that year was me. So I'm telling you what, at 18 years old, this is year 2009, my life is perfect. I mean, I wouldn't change a thing. And then January 10th came. January 10th, 2010. I was on my way to Denver, Colorado to work at the stock show for a couple of weeks. I'd stopped in Wyoming at a gas station, and when I got back in my truck, I made a decision that definitely changed my entire life. I wear my seatbelt all the time. I mean, my truck will ding at me if I don't have it on. But this morning I had a stomachache all morning, and I thought, I'm going to take it off just for a minute. Now, if you had asked that girl on that day what her life was going to look like, I had a pretty dang good answer. I definitely didn't know how that answer was going to change just 10 miles down the road. As I was going through Sinclair, Wyoming, I looked down to check my map. When I looked up, I faded over a lane and was heading towards the middle beam on the side of the road. I grabbed my wheel to correct my truck, and it just sent me sliding across this highway. I thought, if I can keep my truck from rolling, I'll be okay. So I grabbed my wheel with both hands, and I'm bringing my truck back straight, and for a moment I thought, okay, I've got this. Right then, my back right tire caught the joint of the side of this highway and pulled me completely sideways. So at 75 miles an hour, my truck is picking up off the ground to start rolling. At 18 years old inside of it, I'm thinking, this is it. I mean, I'm going to die right here, and there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. I closed my eyes, and I could feel the banging, crashing going on around my head, and I felt myself pick up a me through my window. At 70 miles an hour, I hit a fence post on the side of the road. I hit it across my stomach, folded around it, broke it up, and carried it another 20 feet with that fence. When I opened up my eyes, I saw my truck. I thought, I'm so glad I'm not in there. If I had been in there, maybe I wouldn't even be here. Well, as I'm sitting on the side of this road, I thought I'd better do a self-evaluation, right? I landed in this snowbank with my feet out in front of me. I felt my head first. I was thinking, okay, I remembered everything. I thought I must be all right there. I looked at my hands next. Moved my fingers. They were okay. Lastly, I looked at my feet. Tried to move my toes. Nothing happened. At that point, I realized I'm sitting in this snowbank, but I feel like I'm in warm water from the waist down. I started pinching and rubbing at my legs to try to feel something. I realized there was nothing. They came and found me. They took me to Rollins, which is where I very first heard the news. The news I was pretty sure I already knew, but nobody had said out loud yet. I'm laying on this hospital table and the doctor walks in. I don't even think he was talking to me, but he starts talking about being paralyzed. I said, well, wait a minute. What are the chances of me feeling or moving my legs again? He said, slim to none, but more than none, and left the room. So now here I am, this 18-year-old kid, laying on this hospital table by myself, trying to take in information. How am I supposed to be the person I want to be in a wheelchair? How am I supposed to do what I want to do without my legs? Of course, a lot of therapy, a lot of time. I set 3 goals the very first day of therapy. Walk, ride, rodeo. My nurse had looked at me like, girl, you don't know how hard this is about to be. And she was right. I had to set smaller goals along the way. Learning how to wheelie, getting dressed, brushing my hair. Everything was hard. But I never let go of those 3 words. Walking, it's not perfect. It hasn't happened yet. I have robot legs that I can walk in. I have a standing frame and a track chair. Things that make it possible for me to at least stand up. I'm not giving up on that. It's just where it is for now. Riding took me 4 months to get back on my horses, and I wish that it was magic. But that first day was harder for me than the day they told me I would never walk again. Because that was the day that I realized every part of my life was different. So I want to tell you a story. A couple years ago, I was invited to a wedding of one of my brother's friends. And I'm wheeling in this room to the table I'm assigned to, and I realize I'm sitting next to this mom. Well, I visit with her, and about halfway through dinner, she looks at me, and she says, how'd you do it? How'd you do it and my son couldn't? You see, this mom had lost her son just a few months prior. I'm sitting there watching this mom, her eyes welling up with tears. And I said a prayer. I said, God, tell me what I'm supposed to tell her, because she is looking at me for an answer right now. 3 words came to my mind. My family, my faith, and my horses. I told her 2 wouldn't have been enough. You see, her son had been in a motorcycle accident that was causing half of his body to atrophy. Her son, he took his own life. So I told her those 3 words, and she looked at me and she said, I get it. My son had lost his faith. Now I tell you this story because every person in this room can have those 3 things. Every person in this world deserves those 3 things. Family. Family is not always blood. It is not always someone who has to be related to you. Family is the people who believe in you. The people who will be safe for you. The people who will pick you up when you can't pick yourself up. The people who will be there. The people who will remind you you are capable of more. That is the first piece. That family. The second piece is your faith. Now, I never tell anybody how to believe, but I do tell you you have value. I do tell you that you have a purpose to serve in this world. It is not always going to be easy. There are days it is going to be dark. There are days when it is not fair. But you can do it. There will always be light. There will always be somebody who is praying for what you have. You have to remember you have value. You have to remember that you are worth it. So that is my second piece. Faith. Now, thirdly is horses. And I don't tell everyone in here you have to go buy a horse today. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea, but you don't have to. Now, what I do tell you when I talk about my horses, it is what makes my heart happy. There are things in this world that will just make us happy, right? So for me, that's like my coffee and my Netflix and my bread. I really like bread. But then there are things in this world that will make your heart happy. There is a difference. But that is the third piece, is knowing what makes your heart happy. You cannot continue to pour out your cup to others if yours is not full. You have to do things in order to make sure that you are in a place you can continue to serve and help. Because people need you. People want you. People rely on you. So the third piece is knowing that passion, that thing that will fill your cup up. So that is my horses. Now I tell you this story because every person in this room can have those 3 things. And I hope before you lay your head on your pillow tonight, you recognize them. So that the next time you have a day where life isn't fair, or a day of doubt, or fear, or just when the odds are not in your favor, you're already prepared. You are already equipped with everything you need to overcome. Because every person, every child deserves those 3 things. Now, my last goal was rodeo. Thankfully, I have been able to get to that. As you heard, I am the only paralyzed professional barrel racer in the entire United States. So they do not give me my own category. But if I'm being honest with all of you, sometimes I wish they did, because I could win a lot more often if I was one of one. But my horses have reminded me that even though I'm strapped to my saddle, or I can't kick them, or that I sit in this chair the majority of the time, we get to decide what we are capable of. There are always going to be reasons why you can't, why it's too hard, why it's impossible, why it's not meant for you. There's always going to be things that make it hard. There's always going to be those voices. Those voices that tell you you're not worth it. those voices that tell you it's not for you. Listen to the voice of light. And that voice can just be your own. I tell people, if you've ever seen the movie Inside Out, the little girl Joy that is in there, man, she is so loud in my head. Even when I want to get frustrated, she reminds me there is happy. There is joy in every day. But you have to choose it. So I want to challenge you all something. I want to challenge you to never give up. I want to challenge you to ask someone for help. I want to challenge you to step up for those around you, for the kids in this world, for your family, and for yourself. You absolutely deserve every piece of happiness in this world. And I challenge you to have the faith to remember that you are worth it. And with that, thanks for letting me come and speak with you all today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amberly, for sharing your powerful story and reminding us what resilience truly looks like. And thank you to each of you for being here today. May you remember the words that Krista said of how to endure, where that resilience comes from, and how staff members are there at the family place to be able to love those children, to be there for families, and to remember Amberly's words. It's powerful to hear her because they're not just words. You can see right before you how she has been able to pick herself up. Thank you for attending. Thank you for participating. And thank you for those joining us online. Thank you for being a part of a community that chooses to step up for children. Because of you, resilience is not just an idea, it becomes a reality. Because of you, families find support. Because of you, children can feel safe, seen, and valued. And just as we began today talking about hope, action, and healing, we close with the same truth. It takes all of us. Together, we are stepping up for kids. Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your day.